And joining us right now to talk more about tomorrow's rally and that extra security at the Capitol, we have Meet the Press moderator Chuck Todd. So Chuck, I know in prior chats we've talked about what it feels like to be in D.C. and kind of the sentiment about security there. How are folks in D.C. feeling knowing that this rally is about to unfold?
Well, I think, look, there's a few things that I think make people feel a little bit better about the situation today than they did in where we were a couple of days before January 6th. Number one is there seems to be proactive measures being taken. Number two, this is happening on a Saturday and Congress is not in session. Saturday around Capitol Hill, while there certainly is some residential areas, it's much fewer people and stuff. So there certainly feels as if it's less of a potential problem. There's certainly nervousness that here we go again, what's this going to attract? But in some ways, and I think we're finding out, deterrence can help. And what our reporting has indicated is that some of these far-right groups have backed off deciding to participate in this, since it looks like local law enforcement and the Capitol Police plan to be, if anything, overly cautious on the situation. So I think I can tell you this. I'm right here in Capitol Hill. I am literally spitting distance from where this is going to be. I certainly feel better today than I did on January 5th, the day before January 6th.
Interesting. Okay. What can you tell us about what officials have learned from that January 6th attack specifically? You mentioned some changes, some differences, how that day felt compared to maybe approaching this rally that's coming up. But what do you think they've learned?
Well, I think the biggest thing they learned is to believe the intelligence that they're getting. Okay, that's number one. I mean, what I think the most frustrating aspect about January 6th is that every reporter in town knew this was going to be problematic. You know, anybody that had been following political Twitter knew that this was going to be problematic, and yet local law enforcement and the Capitol Police, for some reason or another, seem to not take the threat very seriously now. And some will say maybe they're being, they're overreacting the other way. But I think given what happened on January 6th, you'd prefer an overreaction than another underreaction. So that's the way I look at it, is that they seem to be taking the same sort of foggy intelligence and assuming the worst this time rather than assuming it's nothing.
Yeah, and certainly hope that it turns out a whole lot better than the last time. Chuck, thank you so much for your insights, and hope you stay safe too. Appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, we'll remind folks at home, be sure to tune in to Meet the Press this Sunday, 10 a.m. right here on WCNC Charlotte.